Hey everybody, I'm getting really excited about this upcoming Pints of Properties. I wanted to give you a quick preview of kind of what this is going to look like. So we're going to do live deal analysis, which I think is going to be super cool. I'd like everybody to come if you've got a deal you're kind of looking at, or even like something kind of random on the MLS. If you want to throw it at us, we'll see if we can go through and do a quick analysis on it. So I'm going to show you a lead that we got that I don't think is going to pan out, so I'm happy to share it. If somebody does end up closing this, you owe us. But this property was on the market, and they were a little desperate to sell, so they reached out. And I'm going to walk you through how we do this in the DealCheck app. So this is what I primarily use for my for running numbers. But I'm just going to put in a property here. Pulls up a lot of the information, and it gives you some automatic estimates, what it might be worth, what, two different data points on potential rents. But I'm going to run this one currently just as a rental. Supposedly it's so with like my base template numbers, it doesn't look great, but my template is out of date. So these people said that they would be willing to sell it for $250. I'll put that in. I do think it's roughly worth about $300, so that's fair. Let's just assume we put 20% down. Interest rates are more like 7.5 right now. And I did look it up, and I saw on Rentometer, I saw about $2,100 a month in rent, but that's something we'll go over in more detail. So, gonna look at my expenses. These are all things that would need to be better validated. I always run numbers with property management in place for a rental. In case I don't want to do it, I want to make sure that I ran numbers as if I'm not going to be managing that myself. So roughly, a lot of this stuff in the template should be pretty fair. And then I can go back and look at my cash flow is 405, negative 405 a month. So that's terrible, obviously. One of the things I like about this particular tool, it's got this offer calculator, and you can put in certain parameters to say, well, I want a certain cash flow, or I want a certain cash on cash, or something along those lines. So if I say I want to make 150 bucks a month, it tells me my best offer is 150K. So 100 less than what they said they're willing to take. Now look at the impact that the interest rate has on that. If I go back to edit the property, and let's say that's what interest rates were a year ago. It's pretty easy to get 4.5 as an investor. Ooh, now it gets actually pretty close. So what's my offer have to be now? See, 205. There's a $55,000 difference in the two offers. So I can pay 205 and meet my target, but with 7.5% interest rate, I can only pay. I was only able to pay, what was it, 150. So this is the kind of thing we're going to do. The other piece of this is I like this tool because we can kind of copy and paste to run different strategies and then compare them. But this, at a slower pace, we're going to go through this exact same thing. What's your criteria? What's important to you? Mine, I'm looking for cash flow. Some people are just looking for equity. You might be looking for different things. So whatever your criteria are, we can kind of plug those things in and figure out how to make an offer. This is a very easy way to stay unemotional about the deal. And you can make an offer based on this. This is what I can pay you for this property. And if they say no, obviously there's more creative paths you can go down to make things work. But at a base level, for getting started, in my opinion, you start with real simple math. Stop trying to make deals work, because that's how you kind of find yourself. Well, if this happens, and that happens, then I'm going to go ahead and keep this. I'm going to be able to get this property, and it'll meet my criteria. So sometimes the more complex you do make the deal, it also means there's a lot more variables there that you're counting on all falling into place to make that deal work. So yeah, come on out on Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. at Weathered Souls Brewing in San Antonio, Texas. We're going to be doing, this took me 4.5 minutes to run through this particular deal. We'll go a little bit slower, but I'm thinking we could probably get like 5 or 6 of these done in about an hour, maybe more. And I think it's going to be really valuable, both to experienced folks and the less experienced people.